Welcome in, YouTube. My name is The Crow Show, home of the smoothest voice on Twitch. Let's talk about the new PTB, which is patch 6.7.0. So we're going to take a look at a bird's eye view of what's going on, which some of the major changes include Auto Haven map rework, specifically to Blood Lodge and Gas Heaven, light killer interactions, so Hag, Wraith, Artist, Nurse, and Spirit all have changes to the way you interact with them using flashlights. We're going to look at the killer tweaks, behavior nerfed Billy's engravings, and we'll be looking at perk updates, especially for Killer and Survivor. The kicking gen meta has been nerfed. Dead Hard has been severely nerfed. One of the bigger changes in this patch is the healing rework. By default, it takes 24 seconds to heal, and Circle of Healing no longer unlocks the self-care option. You need somebody to heal you while you're inside the boon of Circle of Healing. Medkits also got a significant nerf. Speeds are down, and you can heal yourself a maximum of 2 times using a medkit. Other changes they've made is a major accessibility update, visible terror radius, and they've improved how we spend blood points, which is a really great change for Dead by Daylight. Okay, so I just wanted to start with the W's, the wins. The accessibility change with the visual terror radius will help deaf and hard of hearing players. Making the game more accessible is a big victory, and it actually feels really nice in game. Myself, I've got fairly good hearing, but this game can be loud sometimes, background noise and Larry's, for example. I can see how it will help with that, and you know, sometimes I don't know what it is, but sometimes I have just kind of a difficult time hearing the terror radius, so having that visual cue will help quite a bit. Spending blood points between rounds feels great. Using the new technique implemented, I was able to spend 1 million blood points in 6 minutes and 5 seconds. That's pretty amazing. Another big W, the killer perk nerfs. Pain Resonance no longer rewards killers who proxy hooks, so they can just keep recycling the same pain res hook. I think maybe rotating hooks would be a good change, but overall I like that change for pain res. Call of Brine and Overcharge got a big nerf, making them less feasible and hopefully eliminating the gen kicking meta, which is one of the most boring metas we've had. I think the Dead Hard nerf is good for the health of the game. It could make for potentially strong plays in mid and late game. I know that Survivor mains may come for me for this, but it's a really strong perk, even in its current build. And if they do happen to revert the change, I won't mind too much, but I do like this change. Another thing I'm counting as a W is we're going to be seeing more builds, different builds, hopefully a brand new meta. That's exciting. Now, I do have some concerns for the future of Dead by Daylight should everything go through as it is outlined in the PTB. The long healing times leads to very easy snowballing for killers, and not just strong killers, but weak killers too. I had a clown absolutely clap our entire team because we just couldn't recover. Slugging will become a viable and probably very likely a common play style for killers, since recovery speed is also affected by the healing times. Another thing I'm concerned with and the community is concerned with is nerfing Billy's 2 engravings add-ons. They're his strongest add-ons and are the only add-ons that make him somewhat viable. This change cannot go through. Behavior for listening, please revert these changes to Billy. The 2 or 3 remaining Billy mains will thank you. Now, since killers are less likely to kick gens because they're not using, Call of Brine, all of the gen kicking perks, they're going to be patrolling gens quite a bit and getting into chases quite a bit. And as a survivor, I've noticed it's really hard to stay and fix gens, which is a good thing. Fixing gens is boring. But since we're getting a lot more pressure on gens and potentially getting into a lot more chases, I think behavior should reduce the gen repair time by 10 seconds, going back to the way generators used to be in the old days. Now I'm asking the grand question, how will the meta change? I'm going to approach it from both sides. On the survivor side, I think we'll be seeing a lot more altruistic builds. We're going to see a rise in popularity of perks like Inner Healing, Renewal, Autodidact, Botany Knowledge, Desperate Measures, and Resilience. No Mither. Sprint Burst will become the top exhaustion perk, as well as Lithe, Adrenaline, Hyper Focus with toolboxes and Stakeout, so people can hopefully get those gens fixed. And I think Reassurance will also be a really good perk in the new meta. One thing I see happening on the survivor side is more survivors will be dying on first or second hook, because if somebody gets put in the basement, people tend to need full health to get that hook save. So they're going to be taking a long time healing each other to get a full reset before they can go for the save, will result in people dying on second hook quite frequently. On the killer side, hit and run playstyle will be more viable, which is very low risk and high reward, especially when you slug. Stealth killers tend to have an easier time landing the first hit, and since survivors will be injured a lot longer, getting fully healed will be tougher, so that'll make things easier for stealth killers. Sloppy Butcher and any add-on that inflicts mangled, there's a lot of add-ons. Almost every killer has an add-on that'll give survivors a mangled status effect. That all got a huge buff, as healing is going to be incredibly challenging if survivors don't adjust and don't start using some altruistic builds. Now, gen slowdown perks have been nerfed, so we may be seeing new slowdown perk combos, maybe something like Pop Goes the Weasel with Eruption paired with Nowhere to Hide. You get some gen regression, you get some really great information on nearby survivors. And I also think Terminus got a nice shadow buff, because survivors are more likely to be injured going into the final stages of each trial, and so they'll be injured until at least the gates are opened, and we will be seeing a lot more adrenaline. So Terminus, nice little shadow buff. Stronger killers got even stronger since they can pressure the map faster while injuring survivors and keeping up a lot of pressure. Killers like Nurse, Blight, Spirit, Wesker, Huntress, and Slinger, they're going to be really tough to face, and Huntress won't be dealing with Dead Hard as much. And when I'm playing killer, I'm really excited that I will no longer be seeing Dead Hard in the first chase. I think we'll see a rise in popularity of perks like Sloppy Butcher, Pop Goes the Weasel, Nowhere to Hide, Nurse's Calling, Hex Pentimento, Deadlock, Knockout, Save the Best for Last, Scourge Hook, Gift of Pain, Tinkerer, and Fearmonger to counter those sprint bursts. Overall, I am excited for the future of Dead by Daylight. I do not think this is the end of Dead by Daylight by any stretch of the imagination. There's still no competition. People still enjoy playing this game. I think if behavior dials back, the healing speed, maybe take the foot off the gas a little bit, I think we'll be in a pretty good spot. If it stays the same, I'll be curious to see how it all shakes out. And personally, I'm excited for the future and hopefully seeing some new builds in DBD. What are your thoughts? Please let me know in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe.